This is Blair White on YouTube.
I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm queer identified.
Everyone born with a vulva is a girl. True or false? Or identifies as a girl.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like I'm dressed for a wedding or something. Listen up, kids and parents. It's time to stop learning about your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s and get into learning about your LGBTs. Actually, hold on. It's the LGBTTIQQ2, yeah, the number, SA pluses. That. Because of course, right now it's all the rage to teach kids as young as 5 everything there is to know about LGBT. It's interesting how all this new wave of teaching kids about being gay and trans and bi, etc. is actually doing the opposite of what it should be. Acceptance of LGBT people among the younger generation is actually going down for the first time in a very long time.
Hi, I'm Facelift. I use the pronouns she and her, and I'm queer identified.
And I am Fluffy Souffle. I use they, them, because I'm a non-binary performer.
Of course you are.
What are some other sexuality terms that people identify as?
Asexual.
Asexual, yeah. And that means that it's somebody that might have romantic interests, but they don't have sex. They generally. Any others?
Gay.
Gay, totally.
Lesbian.
Yes, lesbian for sure.
What's not?
Nobody's mentioned straight.
Nobody's mentioned straight.
Yeah, they can't read and write in school, but 99% of the curriculum is about how race and LGBT stuff.
Yeah.
If you were a girl and like you're little, how did you like change to become like a boy?
I'm sorry, but if a little kid asked me a question like that, I would respond pretty much exactly like this. You'll learn when you're older, little boy. Don't ask me questions like that. It doesn't concern you. Don't worry about it. Don't concern yourself with it. Go play hopscotch. Do whatever the hell y'all do.
So like, do you have male or female parts?
I'm sure a lot of people ask, or a lot of people are wondering that. For me personally, I have had top surgery, which means that I had, the technical term is a double mastectomy. So I did have my breasts removed, so I have scars here on my chest. And then I really only talk about kind of what's in my pants if people are getting in there. These body parts did not work for my body, and everybody is going to find out who they are in different ways, whether that's surgery, whether that's hormones, or whether it's nothing at all.
Okay.
Keep in mind, it's 1 in what, like 10 million chance that you'll be trans, you know what I mean? But yet it's drilled into them every day that they could be trans, you could be trans, you could be trans.
So first of all, I have a bit of an issue with teaching kids who there is about a 99.999% chance that none of the kids in that room are trans, that like surgery and altering your body is the answer to bodily insecurities or being uncomfortable with certain body parts, because I'm looking at these young girls in this class, and I know that young girls go through so much in terms of body image. And it seems like a very toxic message to be up there standing amongst these kids saying that we all have a different journey, whether it's altering our bodies through surgery or through hormones. These young girls probably think about surgeries to fix maybe they're insecure about their nose or their weight or whatever. It's a completely different message.
I'm Nadine, a sex educator.
And I'm Eva, a sex researcher.
I use the pronouns she and her.
Never would have guessed. Thanks for letting me know.
Today we have our dolls, Ginger and Blue. They are gender flexible today, so you can use any pronoun you want for them. True or false? There's no right or wrong age to fall in love.
This is true. People fall in love at all different kinds of ages.
Okay, I'm not trying to attribute any sort of like, you know, ill will on the part of the instructors here, but I would have liked maybe a clarification that I guess you can technically fall in love at any age, but there is a certain age window that is appropriate for them to fall in love with and for people to fall in love with them.
So now you have children being introduced to this whole drag queens and the drag world by school, by the local libraries, how maybe even their parents, or even TV shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, up to the point where now you have children wanting to be drag queens. 6-year-old drag queen.
My name is Asa. I am 6 years old and I do drag.
Asa is a baby drag queen. He performs at drag shows as Lulu Lovely Twirls.
Lulu Lovely Twirls.
He started doing this 4, 5, now 6 years old. He is by far the youngest.
The biggest misconception.
Like, the kids holding together the jacket, because it's part of, like, drag queen's bits, is to be covered up in the beginning, and then to drop it and reveal more different clothing and more sexually suggestive clothing. Like, that's the profession of a drag queen.
And that's the video that really kind of spurred this journey then, because I shared that video,
And it doesn't stop there. This isn't like an isolated incident. You can just YouTube it, you can Google it. There are tons of child drag queens. There's an 8-year-old drag queen.
Octacia's the deviest diva you could ever think of.
When he was about 7, we started watching RuPaul's Drag Race. I think when he saw that that was an actual art form and they could be whatever they wanted, I think he decided that that's when drag was going to be like his life.
Nothing makes my heart more full than seeing little draglings coming up and discovering who they are, their inner divas, their inner fierceness, and the parents are the heroes in this case because really, because I came up in a time where there was not this much acceptance and understanding, and so thank God for RuPaul's Drag Race, for putting all of us in the light that we need to be shown in, and all you guys are supporting it. So yes, make some noise.
Thank you. So are you ready to say some fierce runway tonight? Tonight, it's 10 in the morning, today. Say some fierce runway tonight? Tonight, it's 10 in the morning, today. Say some fierce runway tonight? Tonight, it's 10 in the morning, today. We're so used to being at bars. We're so used to being at bars. So used to being at bars. I apologize.
We're so used to being at bars, we apologize. I feel so defeated.
Let's bring out these divas!
The towel is so uncomfortable. Not only are they at conventions performing, but they are in bars. And it don't stop there.
Notice how in all these they're giving them dollar bills. You say they're not training them to be strippers, but I've seen there's at least 4 times just in this video I'm showing you where they are giving them dollar bills while they dance, like right here at this place here. This event, it says on here, this event is put on by a group called House of Horrors, who admit themselves that their show has adult sexual content.
Grown adults handing children, elementary grade children, money for singing and dancing in a bar. I sound crazy, but this is real. This is where we're at, and this is why I make the content that I make, because I do not agree with this, and this does not represent the LGBTQ community or any of my followers.
In case you didn't see it, I'm going to go show you how they're in bars, little children dancing in drag, and the audience is all giving them dollar bills.
now we almost
See? See?
after that first time.
Watch, she's going to get a dollar.
There's no
On these young children. No, she didn't. She just said preying on these young children. You guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something very fundamental. Nobody who does drag thinks about kids.
This is Albert Garza, a registered child offender, convicted in 2008 for an 8-year-old boy. This is also him, Tatiana Malanina, his drag queen alter ego. This is who's been reading to kids at Houston Public Libraries since last year.
Nobody who does drag and thinks about kids.
So this is the exact reason why all these drag bills are popping up.
Several Republican-led states, including Florida, Kentucky, Idaho, North Dakota, Montana, and Oklahoma, are considering legislation that would ban drag shows in public. Tennessee became the first state to pass such a law last week, and it's raising new questions about what exactly is being made illegal and why.
Majority of these bills are not even homophobic. These lawmakers are simply scrambling and trying to prevent everything that we have just discussed and witnessed. They want to get rid of the family-friendly pride events and get rid of any child performing drag or witnessing drag because of the harmful things that we have just witnessed. A lot of the stuff that we're seeing is not family-friendly. That same drag queen that I just brought up, Trixie, in that same video they talk about how there's family-friendly movies and there are R-rated movies, and there's family-friendly drag events and there's R-rated drag events. The problem we have is that one is regulated and one is not. We have the Motion Picture Association for a reason. It's accredited and trustworthy. When you see a G-rated movie, you know it's G-rated. When you see an R-rated movie or an NC+17 movie, you know it's for adults. You have a mass amount of event organizers and drag queens saying, yes, this is a G-rated performance, it's a family-friendly pride event, and it's everything but. That is the problem. At the end of the day, when you wrap up this conversation between drag queens and children and them reading to the kids, teaching the kids how to twerk, having them perform on stage, having children be in bars being thrown dollar bills, it all boils down, genuinely, it all boils down to the profession of a drag queen. And it is one that they are employed by a bar and thrown dollar bills by drunk adults in an 18+ establishment, just like a stripper. When you are raising a child to be a drag queen, you are raising them down a career path to be technically a stripper. That's the problem a lot of Americans, a lot of people around the world have with children and drag queens. 9 times out of 10 has nothing to do with the art of drag as itself. 18 up, 21, I don't care. It's a free country, at least in America, it's a free country, do as you want. I genuinely don't care. I attend some drag shows. I think they're bopping. There's videos out there somewhere of me dancing with some drag queens in an 18+ establishment. For children, it's not appropriate. It's literally that simple.
This is a doctor.
A very strong message that people have been talking about this morning is listening to the child and letting them tell us. So
yeah, you let the child tell you everything, because a 5-year-old knows more than an adult. That all makes sense.
I'm wondering if there are recommendations for pre-verbal children. So between the ages of 1 and 2, suggestions of how to approach the topics that we're talking about today.
Okay, so the question is, what about the kids between 1 and 2 who are just developing language, or may not even have it yet? They're very action-oriented. So, at that time, this is where mirroring is really important, and listening to actions. So let me give you an example. I have a colleague who's transgender, and there is a video of him as a toddler. So he was assigned female at birth. There's a video of him as a toddler tearing barrettes out of her hair and throwing them on the ground and sobbing. That's a gender message. And when it happens not just once or twice or 3 times, that's a gender message. Sometimes kids between the age of 1 and 2 with beginning language will say, I boy, when you say girl. Those 2 words, I boy. That's not a pre-verbal, but an early verbal message. And sometimes there's the tendency to say, well, honey, no, you're a girl because little girls have vaginas and you have a vagina, so you're a girl. And then when they get a little older, you'll hear them say, did you not listen to me? I said, I am a boy with a vagina. Okay, but they can't say that between 1 and 2. But they can show you about what they want to play with, and if they feel uncomfortable about how you are responding to them and their gender, if you're misgendering them. So you look for those kinds of actions, like tearing a skirt off. There was one, I think this was in the Barbara Walters special, where this child wore the little onesies with snap-ups in between the legs, and at age 1 would unsnap them to make a dress and have the dress flow. This was a child who was assigned male. That's